The Nabalis Extrusion 2, the Impulse, is now available to purchase. This is Nabalis' newest product, and we're going to talk about it a lot in this video. But before we get going, huge thank you to Nabalis for sending out 2 of the Impulses for me to make videos on. I am both financially affiliated with them, and they are one of my sponsors. However, all opinions are my own. They did not pay me to say any of this. They have just provided me with the products. But yeah, these things are amazing. I've been flipping them for, I don't know, 10 hours. I got them late last night, and I recorded an unboxing video last night and scrapped it because the lighting was horrendous. You couldn't see barely anything. And it was just a not very well structured video. But now I got a few more thoughts on the Impulse, and I feel like I can make some clear points and just collect my thoughts a little better. Once again, just like I had to do in last night's video, it's so stinking hot in here. I gotta open a window. The Nabalis Impulse is the sequel to the Extrusion, and I personally do not own an Extrusion, but I have flipped the very first version of the Extrusion that didn't have the added texturing, and it was really stinking good. I loved how it flipped, but it was kind of slippery. So Nabalis, with like the Extrusion, I don't know if they called it the V2, because this is technically the second one, but they made an upgraded version with better grip. Everything else was the same, it just had more grip. And a lot of people liked it, and they sold that for about a year and just discontinued it for the release of the Impulse. And the Impulse has a lot of the characteristics of the Extrusion. Same price range, some pretty cool colors. It's a lot grippier to begin with, but you can just tell looking at these that these were an Extrusion, and it's just been completely like leveled up, and all in good ways. I don't see really anything about the Impulse that I didn't like about the Extrusion. Yeah. Had to check my words there. But yeah, the Impulse has everything the Extrusion had for me, just better. It feels a lot more premium from what I can remember to the original Extrusion. And I think this is a worthy buy for anyone. This is just another one of those things where this is one of the best beginner Balisongs. And if you're a beginner, if you want to get into the hobby, you should really look at these. I'm going to make a video right after Blade Show comparing just all the budget Balis that are available right now, and just kind of sharing which one's my favorite and the good characteristics and qualities of each one. But until then, you should still pick one of these up. Like, come on. They retail, get this, $35 for the base, just silver model, $40 for the just blacked out single color colorways, and $50, I believe, for the fade anodized aluminum. So this is a wild deal that competes with another Nabalis product, the Canyon, directly. And I feel like this is overall better than the Canyon for sure. Canyon is a lot of fun, but a little bit heavy for me. But anyways, if you want to go pick one of these up right now, feel free to use my link in the description of this video. It's just the Nabalis affiliate link. You click that link and go check out, and it automatically applies a code that lets Nabalis know I sent you. So feel free to do that if you pick one of these up. This thing is wild, and I feel like at such a low price, why would you not have one of these in your collection? Like, come on. But I guess let's oil it with some Canto Group. Sponsored. So I believe the Extrusion 2, the Impulse, is the same process to make as the Extrusion 1, I believe. I could be wrong though. But one gimmick with the extrusion that Nabalis really advertised heavily on was that it was made by an extrusion method. It was like they would extrude their metal scraps into a block that they can mill, which is very, very cool. And I'm assuming this is the same, but I could be wrong. Something super duper interesting about the Impulse is the kind of aluminum it's made out of. I like triple checked the specs on this and I was like, what does that even mean? It is not 6061 aluminum. It is not 7075 aluminum. It is 6063 aluminum, which I didn't know existed. Specifically, it's titled 6063 T6 aluminum. Whatever the heck that is. But that is what the extrusion is made out of. It seems like good quality aluminum. It's not as hard as 7075, that's for sure. But it feels right up there with 6061. Something I've noticed over the last 12 hours of flipping these is that you can tell when they take a hit. I've been flipping the blue one specifically over concrete, and I got a big old ding on the end there. And there's just some marks. So these things will look kind of beat up because they are a lower quality of aluminum. Still plenty high. This is like squid trainer level aluminum. But you are still gonna see some marks. So you might have to be a little bit careful with it if you want to keep it in pristine condition. However, drops shouldn't phase it in any other way because the tolerances are pretty darn solid for 50 bucks. We of course have no tap. The play, there is a little tiny bit, which is to be expected. But I don't really see a problem with those tolerances, especially for what you're paying. So I believe the OG extrusion, people had some issues with getting tap over time. Not everybody, but a lot of people. I don't think this will be the case with the Impulse. It feels a lot more solid and a lot more premium and has those fresh, new, higher-end Nabalis tunes, which I really, really appreciate. Let's oil this one too and give a sound test. The Impulse does have an adjustable balance, similar to the extrusion. The extrusion used to come with 2 sets of weights, I believe. The Impulse comes with one that you can either leave in or take out. They come installed, and then you can take them out to add, or to, I guess, lessen the handle weight. I think my blue one sounds better, actually. Very interesting. Once again, no tap, barely any play. It sounds pretty darn good for, this one costs 40 bucks. You guys can see a theme here. Nabalis has always been a very budget-friendly company. They are based in China. They have better manufacturing conditions where they can make stuff for cheaper. But Nabalis is also not being greedy in any way. They're just being very, very generous with their product prices to just help more and more people find this hobby and enjoy it. So that's super cool. And I really appreciate when companies do that. Now, something that is pretty apparent when you pick up the Impulse is that the handles are very thin. These are super duper thin handles. And I actually really like it. I think they feel good. They're by no means thick. And they're by no means too thin either. It feels kind of like tsunami level thickness. And I like it. Can't complain there. The grip on the Impulse, just upon my first impressions, is there's nothing really to be desired. I think it's good. You have like this nice contour here that lets your fingers get in there, provide some grip. Then you have these milling lines that's like a ladder pattern, and that does a lot too. You also have really solid jimping. I think that's about as good of jimping as you can get on something with this thin of handles. Oh yeah, this thing is very, very nice. Is it the best budget Balisong to ever exist? I don't know. I'm gonna have to spend some time with it. But for a third of the price as some of these budget Balis, it definitely competes. So I'm very excited to make that video once I get my hands on a couple more of these budget flippers at Blade Show. But this is just absolutely wild. The Nabalis Impulse kind of came out of nowhere, hit hard, and it's available right now. So go pick one up using my code, of course. Oh, drop that one. And if you have any friends that you want to get into flipping, they can do it for now as low as $35 and get a high quality Bali that will last them as long as they need. It's just such a cool deal that Nabalis is doing with these. And I also want to just end this video with talking about Create with Nabalis, because that is happening right now. The final voting is now live. So you can go vote for the top 3 designs and see which one you want to be an actual product that you can buy. I personally am voting for the Crescent. That is just such a cool design. I absolutely love the Crescent. And I don't want to see the other ones win. I'm sorry. I cannot have the Balisong in my life. That just does not sit well with me. I do not want that to exist. And the Flare is cool, but the Crescent is just on another level. So that's where I'm voting. I'm not going to tell you what to vote for, but the Crescent, just take a look at it. Soak it in. It's pretty darn sick. So, yeah, anyways, huge thanks to everyone who watched this video. Feel free to subscribe if you haven't already. And pick one of these guys up using my code. I will see you, hopefully, at Blade Show. 1 week left, guys. Let's do it.